Why are you always so easy to manipulate? Think about these incredibly common scenarios. You are already exhausted to your absolute core, yet you still cannot bring yourself to firmly reject the extra work a colleague pushes onto you. It is clearly the other person who made a mistake, but the moment they pull a long face, let out a heavy sigh, or say something like, "Never mind, I will just do it myself," you instantly feel a massive wave of guilt and even start apologizing. In a relationship, you are constantly walking on eggshells, reading the room, and continuously backing down just to accommodate the other person's emotions. You are terrified of saying the wrong thing and upsetting them, even when you are screaming with unfairness on the inside. You might lie awake countless nights hating your own weakness, thinking you are just too spineless and too easy to bully. But psychology reveals an incredibly brutal truth, one that can instantly release you from all your internal friction. The reason you are always held firmly in someone else's grip is absolutely not because you are stupid, nor is it because you are inherently cowardly. Quite the opposite. You become the most perfect prey in their eyes precisely because you possess some incredibly valuable virtues: extreme empathy, a profound sense of responsibility, and a desperate craving for peace and harmony. Manipulators, whether they are your boss, your partner, or your own family members, never target selfish or cold people because they cannot extract any emotional value or benefit from them. They are like master hackers, specifically exploiting the goodness in your human nature as a system vulnerability. They have fully mastered the invisible control buttons hardwired into your brain, buttons like guilt, fear, and self-doubt. With just a gentle press, you obediently hand over your boundaries, your energy, and the remote control to your life. Today, in this 20-minute deep dive, we are not serving up any comforting chicken soup. We are going to take a surgical scalpel to the core underlying logic of manipulators. I will guide you to completely dismantle the control codes they have implanted in your mind and teach you how to rip out these weaponized fatal buttons from the very root. If you are completely sick and tired of always paying the price for other people's emotions, then give your undivided attention to every single minute that follows. Let us look at the very first control button. Manipulators love to press. Weaponized guilt. In psychology, this is the most core and fatal trick of emotional blackmail. Imagine a scenario you are absolutely no stranger to. You refuse an incredibly out-of-bounds request from a friend, or you simply do not compromise to fit your partner's expectations. They do not yell at you. Instead, they look at you with deeply hurt eyes, let out a heavy sigh, and quietly say, "It is fine. I knew I could not count on you anyway. Never mind, I will just figure it out myself." Or perhaps an elder tells you, "We sacrificed so much for you, and now you are not even willing to accommodate us on this tiny thing." In that split second, it feels like your heart is tightly gripped by an invisible hand. A massive wave of guilt instantly drowns out your rationality. You start frantically overthinking. Am I being too selfish? Did I really do something wrong? Consequently, you immediately surrender, hastily taking over the task that deeply disgusted you in the first place, and even stoop low to coax them back into a good mood. Stop and look closely at what actually just happened. This is not your fault at all. This is a textbook execution of responsibility transfer. The highest level manipulators never rely on force to make you do things. They simply skillfully display their own pain and grievances and then firmly place the blame for creating that pain right on your head. They accurately exploit your innate kindness and extreme empathy, implanting an incredibly absurd illusion into your mind that you need to be responsible for their emotions. As long as they are unhappy, it means you are not doing well enough. As long as they are in pain, you are the one causing the damage. Once you accept this toxic logical setup, you are no longer an adult with independent boundaries. You turn into a guilt ATM, ready to have benefits extracted from you at any given moment. To completely crawl out of this swamp, you must build an absolutely ruthless firewall in your mind. The next time someone tries to press your guilt button using sighs, playing the victim, or moral kidnapping, please loudly repeat this sentence to yourself in your head. I can understand your disappointment. I can sympathize with your situation, but I absolutely do not need to pay for your emotions. You must learn to coldly throw their emotional homework right back at them. Allow them to be unhappy. Allow them to show extreme disappointment in you. You not only have to learn how to flatly say no, but you must also learn to quietly watch them be disappointed without a single ounce of psychological burden. Next, we are going to tear open the second and most fatal system vulnerability within you. You have been secretly paying an incredibly expensive peace tax. What exactly is a peace tax? Think back to when you face an intensely unreasonable demand, or when someone loses their temper at you for no good reason. Your heart is clearly filled with anger and resistance, but the moment you open your mouth, the words automatically turn into an okay, no problem. You would rather swallow all your grievances and suffer in silence than face even a single minute of awkwardness, silence, or a direct argument. Subconsciously, you suffer from a severe phobia of conflict, and manipulators are the most sensitive hounds, locking their eyes dead onto this exact weakness of yours. They are like hackers, constantly testing your system boundaries. The moment they show even the slightest hint of displeasure or raise their voice just a fraction, you instantly panic and throw your hands up in surrender. Every single compromise you hand over, every single grievance you swallow, is a payment to buy a fleeting moment of fake harmony. This is called the peace tax. But please remember one bloody reality: the peace tax is a bottomless black hole. The more you crave to keep the peace, the bigger their appetite becomes, and the more worthless your bottom line gets in their eyes. Truly healthy and lasting relationships are never maintained by avoiding conflicts. To take back control, you must begin a highly painful but absolutely necessary desensitization training, which I call the micro-conflict exercise. Start with something small. When faced with an unreasonable demand, bravely look the other person in the eye, calmly say the word no, and then immediately shut your mouth. Do not explain, do not apologize. Allow the air to suddenly go dead silent, and allow the other person's face to turn incredibly ugly. Desperately hold back your instinctive urge to break the awkwardness, to smooth things over, or to comfort them. Take a deep breath and lean into that scalp-numbing, uncomfortable feeling. When you actually survive that 1 minute of dead silence, you will be amazed to find that the sky did not fall. The very moment you stop being terrified of tearing your face, the weapons in the hands of manipulators turn entirely into scrap metal. Now, we are going to uncover the third and most sinister manipulation mechanism in psychology, the intermittent reinforcement trap. Do you often find yourself stuck in this extremely draining, endless loop? You clearly know the person in front of you is selfish, cold, and has been constantly mentally suppressing you. You have sworn to yourself in the dead of night countless times to leave them completely or to draw a strict boundary at work. But at the exact moment you are consumed by despair and ready to give up completely, they suddenly show a tiny, incredibly rare glimpse of kindness. Maybe it is an unexpected compliment, an unprecedented concession, or their attitude suddenly turning gentle. In that split second, all your psychological defenses crumble once again, and your brain starts frantically brainwashing itself. Look, they are not really that bad. They still care about me deep down. Maybe they will actually change. Wake up. This is absolutely not a prodigal returning or a sudden discovery of conscience. This is the most classic slot machine effect in psychology. The highest level manipulators are exactly like meticulously designed casino slot machines. They will never be 100% bad to you, because if they were, you would have run away without looking back long ago. Instead, after ruthlessly slapping you 10 times, they will randomly and unpredictably hand you an incredibly sweet piece of candy. This intermittent reward, filled with massive uncertainty, causes an explosive, manic secretion of dopamine in your brain. It turns you into a red-eyed, desperate gambler glued to this life-consuming slot machine, forever agonizingly anticipating the next illusory jackpot. To break free from this toxic spiderweb, you must force yourself to look at the base rate of a relationship with extreme coldness. Never again use that mere 10% of good to delusionally cover up the 90% of bad. The next time they throw out that fatally honey-coated carrot, learn to watch coldly, with the absolute rationality of an outsider. You must carve this realization into your bones, that occasionally bestowed tenderness is never proof of love and respect. It is the chain used to lock you down and bleed dry your very last drop of value. Reaching this point, we need to undergo the final and most crucial mental reconstruction. To completely crawl out of this manipulated swamp, you must personally shatter an incredibly fatal obsession deep within your heart. The desperate desire to be liked by everyone. The desire to be a good person who never disappoints anyone. You must understand an extremely cold social survival rule. Truly strong, internally free people all possess the courage to be disliked. When you start firmly rejecting others' unreasonable demands, when you start fiercely defending your emotional boundaries, and bottom line, in the eyes of those who are completely used to sucking your blood and taking advantage of you without limits, you will undoubtedly become a selfish, cold-blooded villain. But why does that matter? Please calmly, even proudly, allow yourself to be the villain in their story. Because if your kindness has not grown sharp teeth, it is not called kindness at all. It is simply being weak and easy to bully. Let us do a final wrap-up. You must forever remember this sentence. You are only easy to manipulate when you value their comfort over your own reality. Starting today, put your own feelings and your own interests in the absolute first place. Now, think carefully, who is the person in your life that most frequently presses your guilt button and loves to emotionally blackmail you the most? My ultimate task for you is, within this week, try looking them in the eye and calmly saying a clear no to even their smallest out-of-bounds request. If you are ready to completely rip out that control button in your brain and take back the absolute steering wheel of your own life, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Type "I take control" in the comment section and use it as your first action contract for change. I will see you in the next video.